in for the first time, the last time, or whatever time, we're going to be painting over this. We're going to be attacking it like a madman. Attacking this painting like a madman. And here we go. We're going to get started here in a moment. I just got to get a couple things set up. Let's get my channel. All right, let's pin this message. And here we go. We're going to start painting right now. Let's, in just a moment here, right now. Right now, in just a moment. In case what you're wondering what I'm drinking this is a ginseng tea. Pinkies up. All right. Ginseng is very good for you, from what I've heard. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't be saying things like that, because honestly, I don't know. I haven't done the research. You should always talk to your doctor whenever, disclaimer, always talk to your doctor about these things. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a guy on the internet making videos. All right, so let's go like this. Kita. Let's do Kita 1. Kita 2. Kita 3. Kita 4. Is that it? All right, getting my reference photos together. So we're just getting a couple references together, and we'll be working on this painting right here. We're gonna paint over it. It's a painting I did a little while ago. It's one of those paintings that I did just because I needed to get myself, doing stuff. I just needed to get myself doing something. So it was one of those paintings, totally for the sake of painting. But now we're gonna do something a little bit more. Wow, Levi, dude, Levi, thank you for the chat. By the way, if anybody wants to sign up as a member for the Bold, we're going to be doing a giveaway because it's a really a much smaller painting. I'm making it open to the USA only. Just because I don't have the logistics to actually do shipping around the world. But Levi, thank you for the contribution to the channel. That is about, as much as it costs to become a Bold member. But that does make me wonder if, it makes me think, like, in the future, if I do have members from around the world, how I'm going to figure that out. Maybe in consideration, I'll probably offer prints, but this is specifically an original. But anyway, we'll see. You're making me think about like how I can, make people around the world who are becoming members of my channel happy. That's my goal. Make people happy. All right. So anyway, we're gonna pull by references. That's what we're working on right now. And your contributions go a long way. But if anybody guess who this is, can anybody guess who this is? Marilyn Monroe. I didn't give anybody a second to guess, but yes. Should have let y'all guess. Guessing is fun, right? Guessing games are fun. We should play that. Like, I think like a fun thing to do one day is just to paint until to see how long it takes for people to guess what I'm painting. I want to see my cat. There's my cat right there. In case nobody has noticed, my cat is right there. The cat's right there. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of this cat. He's gotten so big. He sleeps. He eats. He's very gentle. He only scratches me when I hold him for way too long, and then, you know, he wants to get off, or he gets scared and I'm holding him. Isn't that right, bud? Very proud of him for all the napping that he does. I'm so proud of you, bud. You nap about 15 hours a day, don't you? Hmm? All right. Enough playing with cats. Let's paint. So I got this idea this afternoon. I was in a sushi restaurant or a Wow! Oh my goodness! Thank you, Levi. You know what? I will figure out something at some point. But Levi, thanks so much. Thank you. You're. This is definitely, you know, funny enough, you said that you're from Germany. You know, I definitely take a lot of inspiration from German Expressionism. The movement, the art movement, German Expressionist art movements. So, not that, you know, that should really matter too much. Like, obviously, you know, just bringing that up. But I was in a Japanese food restaurant today, and I was arranging my food, and I just thought it was such an interesting arrangement. And I've been to this restaurant before, and it's like the same guy who, you know, runs the place every time. And I just saw him, and it made me realize, like, there's this wonderful thing about painting that, you know, I think it's a really good way to connect with somebody. I know that sounds weird because, like, you know, there's all these people who are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and they make these like viral videos of doing photography, and they go on a street and they're like, oh, hey, let me take a photo of you, and they do this really great photography. So I'm taking that, and I want to like find various people that I want to paint. And you can't just stop someone in the street and say, hey, will you sit and paint? Let me paint you for 4 hours. You know, will you sit there for 4 hours? No one's ever going to do that. So unfortunately, I do have to stick with, you know, photography. But I thought, maybe what if this is my way with connecting with people in person around me. More specifically, you know, I have to ask the person, like, hey, can I take a photo of you? I'm going to do a painting of it. And whatever. But anyway, let's get to painting. I've got a couple brushes here. I'm going to attack this painting like a madman, as some people might say, a bit of a madman. And you know what? I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush. And I have my references. So let me try to find the right reference. I want to focus on the major shapes of this painting first. So I want to focus on the major shapes of this painting. So let's go. I got my red, my yellow. Actually, you know what? I got to lay down some color. So let's go with let's bring down some yellow, drop down some yellow. For yellow, I'm using our Charvin Fine Oil Paint Yellow. I should actually pick up some smaller tubes. I have so many small tubes, I'm going to be using up all these big tubes. And it's like, you know, I should be using small tubes. I have so many small tubes. You know what? I can get rid of this box. Let me grab our red. And I'm going to grab some of our Zen Art Supply paints. Drop them in here. And then let's see. Got this yellow. Drop it in here. What's the color I need? yellow. I want to focus on the warm colors and a hint of blue. So, ooh, you know what? I can actually use, let's just use up our ultramarine. That's fine. Let's see if we have a blue in here. Doesn't seem like I have a blue. Alright, well I have this one blue, but this blue is like, I gotta save this blue because it's such a small tube. I got it as a gift in a pack, and it's just my absolute favorite blue. This is literally like my favorite blue. This is a King's Blue from Williamsburg. I got this in one of the little kits, and it's just the most beautiful baby blue, sky blue, light blue. It's called King's Blue, Blue Royale, but it's just absolutely stunning as far as the blue goes. And I'm a little too precious with it, but and I'm using another Georgian oil. So here's the catch with Georgian oil, is that Georgian oil, their tube things always come off. So the labels always come off because they're like pasted on, but not very well. So you always have to guess at like the color that you're gonna get. So this looks like a purple. I don't think I'm actually gonna use purple, but who knows? I might. I definitely need my red, yellows, a lot of yellow, mix in the red, and just a little bit of blue and white. And let's go ahead and see how we can start to build out this color. So at first, you know what, I should use a bigger brush here. At first, what I'd like to do is I want to loosen up here. Use like a nice, I'm not going to block this in. Usually what I do, how I paint, is I block in the painting, aka, you know, I start by drawing, but I'm just going to get into it. Let's just get into it here. It's got a couple objects. Let's figure out the space first. So the shoulders are going to be about halfway, like right here. And let's go with the flower right up here. And another flower right here, and that's actually gonna go down about halfway. So another flower right over here. And then another flower right about here. I'm just marking a few flowers. And now let's go. This is a little more experimental as far as how I'm painting right now, because usually what I would do is I would, you know, sketch it out first. That's a smart thing to do, but I'm just seeing what I could do as far as, you know, just staying fairly loose with my style. Always trying new ideas. And that's not always a good thing, you know. Always trying new ideas isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it's good to, like, you know, take one idea and then master it and then go on to the new one, the next one. But I love trying new ideas. My personal philosophy is that it's a great thing, but I also can see how, you know, it could be detrimental if you're trying to, you know, get really good at painting, because, you know, you get pulled so many different ways and then whatever. But you know, to each their own. I want to do it my way, or no way. So here we go. We're just going to paint into this area here. Keep a nice loose painting here. Just go ahead and use it nice and thin to spread it out. That's actually going to be, so the shoulder is about halfway, so that's a little bit over a third. So halfway would be right here. This needs to go a little bit higher. So let's go, let's use a burnt sienna here. Go like this. actually raise this up just a little bit. We're gonna bring this down just a little bit further. Maybe I am kind of sketching it out, but that should take about a quarter, right? Let's see, quarter, and a little bit, about a third. So right here should be a good spot to mark it down. And now we're gonna come around. And let's get another piece right here. Go around, get a couple pieces of sushi. So a couple pieces of sushi. Let's lay those down. And we're just, I'm just getting down to shapes. And then I'm gonna refine it at some point. But for now, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then gonna get down some shapes. Let's just use a nice bright yellow for this next section. But those of you that that are here, what inspired this piece? Really, I was looking for something to paint, and the other day I painted somebody in a park. I was in a park. I saw somebody in the park, and I was like, I should paint them. I was just called to this inspirational moment, and it's making me realize like the possibilities of allowing painting to be a way of connecting with people, beyond just like conversation or, social media. What are some other ways that are possible to connect with people? And like one of them is actually like I've seen this done on YouTube, and I mentioned it earlier. Is like some people like to, do photography, right? That's their way. That's their way of connecting with people is doing photography. And then through that photography, they go viral or whatever now, and they get known for their photography. But more than the whole viral aspect of it. And when I say viral, I use that term loosely, in the sense of like when I say viral, I'm not talking about super like famous for doing something viral. When I say viral, I mean just reaching a large audience. I think viral has this really negative connotation now, where if you try to talk about virality, that suddenly it becomes like, oh, like people are viral, they're influencers, that's bad, right? But I think a lot of business owners or like people that are authors and things really depend on this idea of virality for their videos. Every video that they invest in, they expect to have like a high return. And I'm talking on LinkedIn right now. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and something that you see a lot of people a lot of influencer types trying to get into is have viral videos. I just find that so interesting. But when I say viral, I really just mean, getting lots and lots of views, getting a good amount of views, traction that helps your channels to thrive. That's what I mean by viral. Not necessarily this like modern influencer term. Where you go viral for some ridiculous reason. And @_Enigma, what is up, dude? What is up? How are ya? What is the enigma for today? You got an enigma for us? A puzzle, a riddle, an idea that strikes people's curiosities? You got an enigma for us today? Alright, so let's use some of these darker colors here. I'm not going for like expressionism or anything. I'm actually going to go for a hint of realism, but loose realism, which means the realism has to be painted confidently, boldly, confidently, bold. Oh my goodness, Levi. Oh, Levi, are you sure you don't want to just become a channel member? I want to thank you for your constant contributions. But yes, Enigma Mystery, how's my day going? My day's going great. I just so many gifts today. I sold a painting last month, and I was able to collect the check from it today. So that was nice. My cats are good. I have painting inspiration. And overall, yeah, hey, things are good. Things are just going very well, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep things going. That's all I can really say. You know, that's what we're going for. And although I said we're gonna be pretty loose with our painting, I think we're gonna go, at least with our figure here, we're gonna stay pretty. We're gonna get him pretty tight. So let's go. I want to zoom in on his face here and get his head right. So we're gonna go like this. I'm gonna get his head right. So his head. So I'm thinking his head needs to be proportioned so that he can. I'm trying to think of a good head proportion. So one, the chest. Let me actually mark his body here. Mark his body. You know what? I probably have to like really make him much more narrow. I'm gonna do this. So he needs his waist like right around here. So if his waist is gonna be right around there, let's see. We're gonna go. Let's actually go like this. It's gonna be a little off center, so let's just mark it like this. He's wearing all black, so that's cool. Does that give enough space for our flowers? I think so. So let's bring this down, this area right on this other side down. Let's go right here. Now a little bit higher. We're gonna make him a little bit taller. And paint right into this pink here. And you know, of course, I've been getting all these wonderful gifts from Levi, who is just being so generous with his gifts. So really thankful for that. And that's my day, man. So we're really good painter. Thanks. And they go, what's going on with you, dude? What's going on in your part of the world? I don't know. You don't have to share. You can maintain your privacy. But wherever you are, what's going on out there? Wherever you're calling or visiting this channel from, it's cool with me. So here we go. You know what? This brush isn't actually the best brush to be doing this, because this brush is very, very what would you call it? This brush is very. It's a little bit of a rougher brush, so it doesn't spread paint as well. It's good at spreading paint in small areas, but if you're trying to do a large surface, it doesn't like push the paint. It kind of like scrapes the paint a little bit. So depending on what you're really trying to do, it's really important to, spend extra time to find just the right brushes that you're looking for. And honestly, let me see. I might have to make him a little wider. Let's make him a little bit wider here. we want him to be wider. And but I'm still just in planning phases right now. We're still simply just planning what we're going to be doing with our figure. And right now, it seems that we're just going to enlarge in him. Make him even a little more wide. Give him some more width. Make him really fill out this section right here. And I don't usually paint like this, by the way, so I'm actually kind of curious to see how it turns out. You got suspended? Dude, Enigma. Was it worth it? Was it worth it, bud? Was it worth it, man? What's that about? Getting suspended? What's that about, dude? So this has to be double the head length. So let's get a little tighter on his head here. You know what? We should figure out the head and then proportion the rest, but let's go like this. So you just came online to tell the whole world that you that you got suspended. What's going on, man? It's not cool getting suspended. Yeah, it was worth it. Cool. Hey, you take care, Levi. Thanks so much. Yes, we will definitely continue to keep this up. The painting is one of the greatest joys when you have the opportunity to do it. So, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. We're gonna go get some eyes. One thing about painting a lot that's really helpful. When you paint a lot, you start to see like the common mistakes that you make, and you can catch it before it becomes a mistake. That's really helpful. So one common mistake that I always do, that I catch myself with right now, is that I make the eyes. I usually make the eyes a little bit too close to the eyebrows. So the eyes I make are usually a little too close to the eyebrows. A little too close to the eyebrows. I'm painting this pretty loosely, so I'm a little nervous. I gotta admit, I'm a little nervous about how this is gonna turn out because, I'm doing a different method than I usually do. And honestly, I might have to wait some time to paint over this area right here. But we'll see. You never know. Maybe things will get better. Maybe what we can do is we can let's take a yellow. Let's take a very loose yellow red. Just gonna paint it over the black here. So let's just go over the black, spread the black so that we can just cover this up with a nice loose color here. And let's just see how it goes. So this is why you sketch it out first, but again, I'm trying something a little different than usual, just to expand my playbook. Going for something a little bit more dramatic. Bringing in some drama here. Let's grab a little bit of blue. Now loosen this up here. Grab this blue. I'm just gonna come around in here and just let it drip. Let's go back with our black paint here. Good, it was worth it. All right, well, hey, Enigma, as long as it's worth it, man. You know, sometimes, you know, things, they feel worth it, and you know what? As long as you're prepared to deal with the consequences, it's all good. But hey, it's getting suspended still, you know, small consequences compared to some bigger things. So, you know, good in the sense of, I guess you could have gotten in more trouble. But since you only got a suspension, that's good. I think. I don't know, am I sounding like a parent? I'm not trying to sound like a parent. Am I Nepali? No, I'm Chinese. I am Chinese. A Chinese man. Chinese man from China. Why am I doing that voice? I think it's amusing to think that my voice would be American Southern. American Southern as opposed to American Southern as opposed to gotta bring in a little bit of pink. Gotta bring in a little bit of pink. Is that American Southern voice? I lived in Arkansas for a year. That's pretty Southern, right? I don't think that's enough time to build an accent, but I did pick up a couple words like y'all. I look Nepali. I could be Nepali. You know, I could be. Maybe genetically I am partially Nepali. Is it called Nepali or is it called Nepalese? Or maybe it's just in English we call it Nepalese. But in other languages it's Nepali. Let's go right here. We're gonna have a longer mouth. We'll go with the gonna go on the cheeks right here. Move it. Just gonna highlight the top of the eyebrow right here. Highlight down the nose. Start to build out the nose here. Now we're gonna come around, and we're just gonna go like that. Just a little bit on the side of the eye there. And let's see, we're going to add a little bit of a darker pink to his lip here. Let's go right here. We're going to go like lip, boom, boom. And let's see, we're going to come around in front of the nose here, around the eyelid, and bring some pink into the face. Really looking to stay much looser with my painting than I usually do. And we're just going to come, I mean, actually, you know, I paint pretty loosely pretty often, but what I meant by that is I want to be even looser, get even looser than I usually do. Even looser. Loosen up. That is the name of the game, loosening up. You start to see the face. I don't speak Chinese, so I mean, you know, I could read like 10 letters in Chinese. There's literally like 10 letters in all the Chinese alphabet that I can read, excluding the numbers. Like obviously, you know, I can read numbers up to, because I played mahjong, but see, where's the shadow going? Let's go like this. His chin here. Some shadow along the side of the neck here. And let's go bring in our light blue. Let's see if we can drown out any of this with a blue. So the goal that I need to do is to drown out this black with blue. When I say drown out, I mean like, you know, I made a little mistake with this. Oh, look at all this drip that's coming down. Did not mean for that to happen. I don't even know how that's happening. But anyway, that actually looks kind of cool. But anyway, what I mean by drowning out this black with the blue is so I painted this part, and then I like messed up on the dimensions. I was trying to paint the black part of his outfit, and you know that was probably a mistake because black is such a color that is like becomes so dominant in a painting when you put it on, and when you know, if you don't use it at the right time, it can be really hard to paint on top of it. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm trying to paint on top of an area that I ended up painting with black on top of, and that can create some issues when I'm trying to work on top of it. So that's what I was saying about that. And let's go like this. Go, he's got, how long is his arm? His arm's a little longer than his head. I'm gonna go like this. You only know a little bit? All right. Well, you sent a couple things. So are you Nepali Enigma? What's your story? Tell us about yourself. By the way, if you're under the age of 18 or you're over the age of 18, you don't have to share anything. By the way, I'm totally just bringing in random conversation. You know, for your privacy. For your privacy, you know, you've shared a lot already. I don't know how old you are. You don't need to let me know. I'm asking all these questions just as like a conversational thing, but you know, don't feel obligated to engage in conversation here. Don't feel obligated just because you know you're watching or whatever. But you know, anyway. So this painting, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Less of a personal question. I don't know why. I just so naturally ask these like questions. But less than a personal question. Are you an artist? What brought you to this live stream today? I guess that's the question I should be asking. Not, hey, what's going on? How's your day? What's going on? Oh, you got suspended? Wow. Like, I shouldn't be asking those questions, right? It's none of my business. Nobody needs to know this stuff. Oh, yeah, you got suspended, so that means you're under the age of 18. So I definitely should not be asking these questions. Common sense. All right, my bad. Was not thinking, just trying to have a random conversation with a viewer. But all right, so yeah, that's where I'm at. We're doing this painting here. So that should be about the length of his head. Let's see. Length of his head is about the length of his. Oh wow, the length of his head is like about the length of his sleeve. So whatever the length of his head is, it should be about the length of his sleeve here. So this should come down just a little bit more. Let's go with our yellow. I'm going to bring in yellow right here. Let's see, this arm is going to come down right past. So right over here. And bring this down like right there. I'm like your brother? Oh, cool. All right. Your older brother, your younger brother? Older brother, younger brother? Great. Let's grab a little bit of yellow here. And your brother must be a very talented person. Such a talented guy, right? You must be the most talented guy in your family. Alright. Enough talking about myself like that. Alright, so we're gonna go like this, let's go grab our green, mix it in with some yellow. We're gonna find like a yellow green just to reduce the greenness of it. And we wanna go bring in Alright, and let's go. So we're going to come down like this and bring some flour. We're going to bring this flower pot like right down into here. And let's go, boom. All right, cool. 17. Hey, that's probably must be a great time. But hey, look, like in reality, like don't you wanna be able to enjoy school, man? Like, aren't there some cool people at your school that you're like that you don't need to impress by getting suspended? Right? Like, can't you? Like, surely you've got to have some friends or some sporting activity or like some girls or I don't know, or guys that you're like, hey, I like spending time with these people, and I don't need to get suspended to hang out with them. Again, I don't know why you got suspended. My guess is, I guess people get suspended for a few reasons. I mean, either something really bad, but that would mean you probably got arrested. So you probably just either made a teacher really upset, or you got into a fight with somebody, and that that's an issue too. But stay in school, people. It's good for you. It's a good networking place, right? Like the relationships that you maintain in college or high school or whatever will stick with you. It will stick with you. And this is green orange, so I should probably go for like a light blue. Green orange. Try to go for like some contrasting blues here. You love drawing and painting. Rumi! Dang. All right. All right. I see. Hey. Well, you know what? That's some. Sticking for your friends will be definitely is definitely something that'll carry you well into life. So, good on you for helping protect your friend, and hopefully, like that they do the same for you, right? Can only hope. So Rumi, what a great name, Rumi. I know there's a Rumi. You're not the Rumi, are you? What if the Rumi actually came into this live stream? That would be awesome. I actually have never listened to like Rumi, but I just know that he's like a like a guru of sorts. Rumi the Guru. Guru Rumi. Guru Rumi. Would Rumi pop into a live stream like this? I don't know. That would be awesome though if he did. He just came into a live stream. You know, I'm sure that famous people like pop into live streams all the time, but they just don't announce themselves. Because surely famous people are curious about what's happening in the world amongst the normal people. I don't want to say normal. Normal's not a good word to use, but amongst like the everyday person of society, right? Like if you're like Justin Bieber, you can't really just like go hang out and like have a chat with the random person without. You can, but it's like really difficult, right? Like you can't just go out and just hang out at the park and try to like mingle. Becomes such more of a thing, right? If you're like Justin Bieber or something. Yeah, Enigma. So, Dave, you're telling me that I should paint it, but we should be trying to inspire Enigma to draw and paint his moment. Like it should be Enigma that draws his own his own situation. Not me. I can only paint. I'm not AI. I can only paint what's authentic to me, right? Like if Enigma like commissions me and pays me a lot of money to pay something, paint, hit the fight that he got into or whatever, or the whatever, then that's one thing. And then, of course financial motivation is important, but like it has to be, that's the one thing, right? Like but also I saw the best quote today. Don't ask yourself, what do I see? Ask yourself, what do I see? That's my quote of the day. Don't ask yourself, what do I see? Ask yourself, what do I see? And that, my friends, is the quote of the day by Richard Schmidt. Let's actually give him some credit right now for that amazing quote. Say hello to my cat. Did you hear him? Did anybody hear him say, "Rah"? Did I scare you? Did that scare you, buddy? Were you dreaming? You have a little cat nap in your dreams? Huh? All right. Back to Richard Schmidt. Let's see. Where's that quote? Hopefully I can find it. It's in. Got hundreds and hundreds of pages of this. Here you go. Here's the quote. And do not ask yourself, what do I see? Rather ask, do not ask yourself, what do I see? Rather ask, what do I see? That is the quote of the day. Neat, Matt. What is neat? Preparing for neat. You know what? Let's do something different. Usually what happens when I reach this point in a painting is I don't wipe away stuff. And I feel like if I wiped away some stuff, I could really add some dramatic flair. And here's the problem though, is the under part of this painting, okay, so now I'm like, oh, that's why they do it this way. So here's the problem. The under part of this painting is actually another painting. So the wipe away technique, which, you know, if I start to like wipe away right here, if I start to like wipe away paint, you could start to see what's underneath. But here's the catch. You know, if I start to wipe away and you start to see what's underneath, the underneath isn't a traditional white canvas or even like a it's a you know, a paint over. So I feel like this technique won't actually work because you're just gonna see what's underneath. So there goes my idea. You can't use the wipe away technique on a canvas that you're painting over. Note to self. That should be common sense, but you know, you don't really think about it. You don't really think to ask that question, right? Whoever asked the question, oh, what if I wipe away on a paint over? No one thinks to ask that until they're in the moment. So there's a moment of wisdom right here, right? Wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience. Knowledge comes from just someone telling you and you agreeing. Build in some wisdom here. Sharing some wisdom. I don't know everything, by the way, people. I know that might be shocking. I know it might seem outrageous, but I don't know everything. I just know some things about some things. I know enough to. I don't even know enough to be dangerous. I just know enough to survive. I just know enough to be able to do things. Just do what I need to survive. That's it. I don't need anything else. Just survive, people. Alright, let's take a look at this. We're going to go deeper with our greens here. We're going to go bring this up. Oh, it's an exam to be a doctor. Wow, that's cool. That's amazing. All right. You're going to be a doctor? Psh, you're going to be a doctor, then you should get into all the fights you want. Just kidding. Just kidding. I know that your parents would probably not approve of you watching this live stream if I actually said that factually. Joking here. But like, here's the thing: is it sounds ridiculous, right? What I'm saying does sound pretty ridiculous. Like, get into all the fights you want. What are you talking about? That sounds like the worst advice ever. Because it is. Don't listen to me. Don't do it. Just don't do it. All right, let's go with white. We're gonna grab our white paint here, and let's just try to find some. Highlights here. We're gonna go bring in some more right here, maybe like that. Let's try to find our brighter values. Maybe we could wipe away at this hand here. And then right from here, we're going to come around, bring that like that. And I don't know if we're going to be able to build up color on this today because it's so wet, unless I really spend a lot of time to try to wipe away at the layers, but I don't think that's going to happen. I might as well just try to keep it pretty loose here. I'm going to go for line this color up, right around like a natural pink here. Enigma's gonna send me a portrait and send it to me. All right, so are you gonna include this painting? Here you go. Here's a good screenshot photo. I'm gonna use serious face because you know you're never supposed to smile in a portrait. There we go. So we got someone who's gonna be a doctor and an artist all at the same time. What a talented young person. Let's go. All right, we're gonna bring in some yellow for this broth here. It's like a miso broth. We get some nice chunks of chashu, little chunks of chashu in here. All right, let's go back to his face details. See if we could do some stuff with his face here. You're done? Dude, that's amazing. Amazingly fast. You didn't just use AI, did you? All right, so we're gonna continue on with this. We're gonna build out this painting here. Just try to find, you know, before we get into face, I want to add this little yellow thing here. Just gonna bring it around his head. Little sphere. All right, we're gonna go back into the face. All right, cool. You'll send it later. That's all good, dude. Yeah, my Instagram is in my profiles. Send it to me on there or on here. Up to y'all. let's grab a little bit of a green highlight as I start to go around his face. I want to highlight his face a little green, so let's just go right here above the lip here. A little bit of green. And then we'll highlight on the top right here with a little bit of green. Forehead with a little bit of green. Shade the eyes around here with a little bit of green. His head a little bit bigger. Add some of this highlight onto the front of his cheeks here. Just gonna go just under his eyes. The first part of his chin is just gonna go sweep up behind his face right here. From today, I'm Enigma's brother. All right. Well, there we go. So just yesterday, someone was saying that I'm their dad, and today, I'm somebody's brother. If there's any sort of jumping in, I'm not doing it. Since you said you have all these ganging up on people and fights and stuff. If there's any sort of initiation jumping in, I'm not doing it. Just saying that now. I'm not doing it. If there's any sort of transfer of blood or anything, I'm not doing that either. But if you just want to hypothetically have someone that's a pretend brother. But you know what? You're a young guy. You're still 17. There's this program called Big Brother, Big Sisters of America. I don't know if you've ever done it. But if you feel like you need some, adult, like an older brother in your life, dude, check that out. Big Brother, Big Sister. It's a, government-sponsored program, and you can just go there and someone that you look up to that can help you with whatever it is that you're looking for in your life, That's what I recommend. But when was the last time anybody took a recommendation from me? I think this collar's a little too long. So we're gonna bring this up a little bit. I'll bring the collar up. I should be working on the face. So let me go. No need. This program's full of. Oh, you're not in America? Oh, well. Yeah, I don't actually know how Big Brother Big Sister works. I'm sure there's some level of verifying who you are. But that's a program in America. It's pretty well known, recognized program. So I'm sure they do their, their due diligence of who they let in. But then again, just the other day I read something about, a teacher, somebody's teacher doing, we always hear about horrible teachers. So maybe, the systems are not perfect. F sickos, right. F those sickos. They're horrible and disgusting. And really, like, they need to be, something needs to be done with them. Something needs to be done. F those guys. And then we can all be in alignment when we say F the sickos, right? I won't say the actual words, I'm streaming, but we all get the idea. F those horrible people, wherever they may be. Okay, let's go like this. Right. Make the spoon, make his hair, bring some highlight on the hair here. You really never know how. It's really hard to tell how the painting is going to turn out till the end because sometimes the ugly phase of a painting lasts for a little longer than you hope it will. Okay, so we're going to go bring this up, and then his neck's going to come just a little bit behind. So actually, let's grab like a darker pink here. It's actually quite hot today. My apartment has not cooled down. At all. You're not doing any bullshit. You will focus on studies and art. All right, there we go. We turned someone's life around in one day without that Scared Straight show. Anybody ever see that show, Scared Straight? If you don't know what that is, Scared Straight is a show from like the 2000s when they used to like take kids and like take them to like a prison and show them how scary prison is. And I don't know if it actually ever worked, but it was an interesting show because these guys in the prison would say just the most absurd things. Like they let them say whatever they wanted. And I don't know like how that show ended up working out, but I guess most people probably don't know what that show is, huh? Scared Straight. To incite the fear into kids everywhere from being bad. very amusing show. Let's go like this. We're gonna bring in. What should we do with this? Add a little bit of a, make these look more like sunflowers. And let's go down here. We'll go down here and bring this black down. This outfit is gonna curve around. Actually, you know what? This probably doesn't come down far enough. It goes down like right around the arm right there. You don't have any bad habits. This is your first time getting suspended. That's awesome, dude. Keep up those good habits, right? You gotta keep up those good habits. Get those good habits, But hey, even getting sucked into the bad situation, it's one of those things. It can happen. It happens so easily. One time, and this isn't even that wild of a story, but I was at a bonfire one time, and I'm sure kids today have way crazier stories, but I was at a bonfire at the beach when I was like 16, and luckily I didn't drink it. I didn't drink alcohol or anything when I was younger. Mainly because I was into sports and wrestling and exercise, so I just never got into it. Well, not never, but just didn't get into it. I don't want to go too much into it. But anyway, I was at a bonfire at the beach, and the cops just came and they were just trying to tell us to shut down the fire. But then they decided to investigate, because there was red cups, so they were investigating us for drinking. Fortunately, I wasn't drinking, so that was great. But then also but then there was these other kids who had nefarious items in their bags, and they got arrested. But I didn't even know those random people, and it was only 9 people, so it wasn't even a huge party. I don't even remember who those kids were. They were just these random people that happened to be in a group with us, and luckily they were only ones they got in trouble. But I feel if if they had seen the cops and decided to walk away and just leave us with the bag, no one would have ever guessed that there was nefarious items in the bag, and any one of us could have taken a fall for that. But anyway, yeah, football's great. Football's awesome. What a great sport to be in. I really just want to figure out how far I can push this specific painting, because there's so much nuance comes with painting faces. Let's get this pink going. Let's just start building up this pink in the forehead here. Build up some of the pink. Add a little hint of purple. To find some. Again, I have made my eyes way too high. So I'm going to try to reduce that with this move. We're going to try to find our blue here. Yeah, all right. Take care, dude. Go be a doctor, dude. Go be a doctor, young man. Go become a doctor. That should be your life's ambition. Save lives. And here's the great, you know what I think is great about today is that I'm noticing more and more artists, like, or more and more art, didn't actually come from people that studied art in school. I just find it so fascinating. Like, I'm seeing more and more art that actually comes from scientists. Like, you know, this engineer decided to, you know, learn how to make these giant standing sculptures with huge rocks on top of them, right? Or this biologist who was really interested in like cells, and they made like, you know, fake cells. Or this what's another one? This physicist was really obsessed with light and lasers, and they decided to make an entire exhibition with light and lasers. And I'm just seeing all these like things pop up that just makes it so great that, like, you know, you don't have to go to art school and study necessarily to be an artist. You just gotta have something that you want to explore and study. You can be a scientist and become an artist. You can be a lawyer and, you know, still do art on your free time. You don't need to do it full time. It's like not even, you know, it's not even like an activity that you really need to focus on full time. Now, obviously, if you have that luxury, why not? But have the luxury, why not? But it's understandable if everyone does not, right? Not everyone needs to be an artist. There's some people who need to be an artist. There's like some people who either out of necessity or just like, you know, they went to art school and they really have no other skill other than like painting or sculpting. And literally, if they did not paint, they would be doomed because whatever, right? And then on the flip side of that coin, but I consider that like a survival level of being an artist. Whereas if you have the luxury to be an artist, I really think that really frees you up to get more creative, right? Like if you're if you have the luxury of being an artist, so let's take for example, there's this great artist, two great artists. Actually, you know what? Let me get a drink before I get into this. I'm gonna clean off my hands real quick and get a drink a ginseng tea and some water before I get too far into this. Ginseng tea is very potent. Pookie. What are you doing, Pookie? Pookini? All right. Chromium oxide green. Thanks for the follow. Follow is appreciated. Let's go. Oh, where's that brush? Ah, here we go. We're going to go into the face again, and let's try to build up our highlights around the eyes. I really want to establish the eyes a little better, because once you get the eyes, you know, everything else kind of comes pretty easy, honestly. You know, the eyes, of course the nose and everything, but if you can get the eyes, you can just like, there's just so much of the work is already done once you get the eyes. Once you get the eyes, and let's go like this. We're gonna start to blend this down with our shadow here. So let's start to bring this nose down, give it its shape a little better here. Shape out the nose, bring this down. Start to move around the shadows of the nose here. And just really capture this shape around here. How do we get our lips here? We're gonna darken them. The lips are just gonna be a little bit darker than the skin. So I need like a purple, I'm just gonna go with like a darker purple flesh tone. Slightly darker purple with a little bit of blue, bring in the blue. You know, color, I think coloring, I call it coloring instead of painting. I think coloring is a lot like, is like math, right? It's like an equal amount of red plus an equal amount of yellow will give you some sort of orange. An equal amount of uh, blue plus an equal amount of green. I mean, equal amount of blue plus an equal amount of like plus yellow will give you like, will pretty much give you a green. Let's find some more shadow around the eyes here. Shadow around the eye. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. And let's find this. Let's grab this ear right here. We're gonna go right here and just under the ear. I mean, just under the hair. And as long, you know, it's one of those things where if you get like just some of the proportions right, then you're going to start getting, you know, a lot of the things are going to come together really nice and easy. But if you mess up a couple things, then, you know, like all I'm doing, like what am I thinking about when I'm trying to paint this other than color is like proportion, relationships. You know, I'm thinking, oh, the relationship of the ear to the nose is just slightly lower than the nose. The relationship of this ear to the highlighted area of his cheek is like about this far. The relationship between, you know, this eye to his other ear is about, you know, this is maybe a little bit lower because of the angle, right? So that's what I'm really constantly thinking about as far as like painting everything and getting it accurate and whatnot. That's what I'm thinking about. In case anybody's wondering, what is he thinking about? He's just saying stuff, but what is he, you know, what's on my mind? I think that's something artists don't share enough of, which is why I overshare, is because, you know, there's probably so many things that I say that I should easily just not include. But I think it's in those moments of things that you shouldn't share that probably help the most people. Because it's just this idea of being human, right? Like, surely there's an artist out there who's a teacher who has made a mistake, but they don't announce their mistake, because then that would make it seem like that they're not a good teacher, right? Teachers are supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to, you know, be masters, but because of that, they don't announce their mistake, and like. And I think that's what Bob Ross did really good, was like, you know, he made mistakes happy accidents, as he called them. And he allowed people to make mistakes and experiment and like, you know, try things. So I think the space looks kind of interesting. It's very like mask-like. It almost looks like he's wearing makeup. So as we, you know, build up this painting, we're going to go ahead and, you know, improve on everything. But, you know, there are certain things. We're just going to continue on. So let me see. I'm thinking about the back of his head, right? Like, what do I really want to fill the space behind his head? I want like this reddish purple, actually. I'm gonna go for this red purple. What color is that actually? Oh, you know what? I don't know because I don't have a label on this. So this is the most annoying thing. But Georgian Daler-Rowney doesn't have a label because they all fall off, and I think it's some sort of purple or violet, or maybe almost a burnt sienna, but not quite. It just like it doesn't say. It doesn't even give like. I love Daler-Rowney, but I love the texture of Daler-Rowney. That's my favorite thing about Daler-Rowney. But they just don't make their they don't make their labels with to last. The labels don't last long. I want to darken this a little bit actually. So how do I do that? I need a burnt umber. I'm gonna use a burnt umber from Van Hoch brand. The Van Hoch brand, and you know something else that I do is use these little turnkeys here. Very helpful turnkeys. What is burnt umber? Burnt umber, basically a really dark brown. It's probably like one of the darkest browns you could get before getting to black. I mean, honestly, I feel like black is a totally different color than dark brown. Like when you look at black compared to dark brown, it's just like even really dark brown, it's not the same. Dark brown always has this like tint to it. It's like reddish or like purplish. But black will always be black. Black is black as a color in itself is just black. It's not like you just can't have like a dark brown. Like dark brown is dark brown. Color black is black. You can almost always tell the difference close if you look close enough. Let's see. This is burnt umber. BR7, so PBR7, so pigment PBR7. All right, so just some burnt umber in here. Okay, so we got our as much paint out of this tube as we can, and this is why you know that's why you use little little tube keys. This is why you use these tube keys, right? Like, you know, maybe you can do a toothpaste and like, you know, scrape it on the side of like your sink, right? So you know you take toothpaste and pretend this is the edge of your sink, and you just like squeeze it through the sink. But that doesn't. You can't really do that with paint tubes sometimes because the tubes are really like stiff sometimes, and you just need a different method from which to work with. That's why you get little tube squeezers. Now, I want to see if my Amazon packages came yet. No, not yet. I ordered some stuff from Amazon. And they should be coming soon. Alright, you know what? Maybe we could get the eyes. Let's paint into the eyes a little bit. We're just gonna get the tiniest hint of blue into our eyes. also going to come around like this, that. It's a little bit like a snake right now with these eyes. Kind of crazy. It's pretty crazy looking, huh? That's the thing about eyes. You need to practice eyes a lot because, you know, if you get the eyes wrong, you get everything. You know, eyes say so much. Unless you have you know, you do eyes with a certain style, like Amadeo Modigliani. You know, if you go the Amadeo Modigliani route and you want to like just black out the eyes totally, that's one way. If you know, if you don't want to actually practice eyes, each their own. Everybody is gonna do something a little different, right? We don't all want the same painting. Wanted the same painting, everyone would just paint the same. Everybody's different. The real question that you should be asking yourself, if you ask yourself something tied to art, is, you know, who would buy this? Or who would be interested in this style? That's the question. It's probably one of the harder ones to answer. All right, so we're gonna go like this. Let's go with a dark brown here. Actually, brush is a little too big. And let's do this. Huh. Let's get a little bit more with this dark color. We're gonna go to the other side here. I'm using a ruler just to keep my arms. I've been doing this this ruler thing for a while. Most people would use wouldn't use a ruler actually. They would use something else. They would use one of these, a maul stick. Most people would actually use one of these, right? It's a maul stick. But here's the problem with this is that I usually paint really wet, which means right now the painting's wet. So, you know, when you would use this is if you're working on like a huge wall piece and it's already dry, or you have a wall to work on or a surface that you can stick this on. Like if this painting was dry, I guess what people would do is they'll put like a little rag at the end or something, so you know it doesn't affect the painting, and they would just like stick it on there and just work. But I work on canvases that are already pre-stretched, and I don't have a wall to place this on. Like I could put it right here, but it requires me to kind of keep it steady. A ball stick, maul stick, whatever. And also I could do it this way, where I rest my arm in here, but it's always sliding around. So, you know, to keep my arm from sliding, I pretty much have to use a ruler, my ruler trick. That's what I use my ruler trick for. It's my ruler trick. It's not really a trick. Alright, so let's go like that. And then we're going to come around and just bring this. Let's get this eyes. So Dave, what's up? Are you in the wage cage right now? Are you in the bathroom of the wage cage, hanging out, trying to pass the time by passing your food? Right now, a lot of this still looks pretty like, it looks like he's got makeup on. I'm gonna fix that. But I think it's important to get get the main stuff going on as soon as you can. The main things, the main ideas. And let's go with a little bit of a darker shade, just a tiny bit darker. Just a hint paler, a hint of this purpley color. It's going to come right down here. And let's go across the top of the eyelid here. And we're just going to go with a bright, just a little highlight. Let's highlight it. And here we go. All right, we're going places. We are going places. And let's get the nostril detail. Let's get some nostril details. And here's the hard part for me, is that at some point over the course of this painting, I know I'm still going to mess up something. Something's going to change. Like, I'm going to be painting around the eyes and I mess up the eyes and I have to do it over again. So I'm not like I haven't gotten too tight with the eyes yet. It's getting there, but let's see, where can we actually add a black outline here? I think we can actually add a black outline right around here, right as the neck curves. And then right around here. And let's see, so we're gonna come up. Oh, and here's what we're gonna do that I forgot, that I got distracted with the eyes. We're actually going to. Kind of looks like Michael Jackson right now. I gotta adjust that. Someone could actually tell me why they think he looks like Michael Jackson. Please let me know. But we're gonna go paint around his head. That's what we gotta do. So what are we going for? We're gonna go for some really dark ochre, or dark purple red. So that's what we're going for. I'm gonna keep it pretty loosey-goosey with this brushwork here. And let's go grab some more of this color. Let's go above his hair here, carve his hair out. What's kind of cool about this color is it helps to, I think it's going to help to contrast this green as we come around here. And these grays. It's going to reduce the amount of gray, which gray's a really boring color. And, you know, there's actually some artists that I've read that said like never use gray because it's like the most boring color, most lamest boring color you could possibly use. Like there's millions of other colors you could use because, and I can't cite any sources. Usually I try to be able to cite my sources, but not with the color gray. I just know that it's not recommended. But here's the thing, like gray is literally just like an in-between color. It's like in the middle, right? In the middle of white and black. It's like gray's like almost like not even a color. And there's so many other options that you can use other than gray to portray like, you know, something that's in the middle. And you know, here's the worst part is like my entire painting looks kind of gray. So, you know, I'm kind of like throwing myself under the bus as far as this idea that gray's a horrible color. However, it's not a horrible color. It's just like a highly unliked color. Out of all the colors that you could possibly have as a painter, I mean, of course, right? If you are a sketch artist that uses graphite, gray is your bread and butter. Gray is where you live. You live in a gray area, or the dark gray area, or the light gray area, or the white area if it's white paper. Or even, you know, but you don't really go into the zone of like the color black because, you know, it's really hard to get totally black graphite. But if you're not a, you know, if you're a painter, it's like, why spend so much time? Why be in a gray area? There's no point. There's no point. That's my addition to what I've, you know, heard as a theory, but. You know, to each their own. Everybody have your right to your own creative, artistic philosophy. I give everyone permission to have their own creative philosophies. Everybody in the world. I give you permission. allow me to permit you, as if you didn't already have the permission, you weren't already granted this permission by being born. Just, by the way, just by being born, you pretty much do have the permission to go about your life in the most creative, meaningful way to you. Yes, that is your right. That is a right. Okay, where do I want to go with this? I should tighten up his face. Maybe I leave his face like this, in this almost creepy way. No, I gotta do something. It's not a good look. It's gotta be better than this. Gotta be better. There has to be more to life. More to this painting. Okay. Let me see what's going on in my phone. Let's see what's going on in the world. I was talking about this the other day, how I don't have a TV anymore. So that kind of keeps me like going when it comes to painting. Like I used to, if I needed a break from painting, I would just make an excuse. You know, it'd be like an almost like an excuse. I'm realizing now. You know, it'd be like, oh, you know, I'm getting tired. I've been painting for 4 hours now, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you know, it's time for a TV break. It's time for me to go take a break, aka watch some TV, get some random work done, and you know, just pretend like I, you know, needed a break from painting. But I think the reality is, the truth is that I don't need as many breaks as I feel like I've said compared to like what I do with that time. Nothing against TV, but you know, this is just an observation that I'm having now as I don't have a TV. Just an observation that I'm realizing. So nothing against TV. I want just, you know, even food, right? Nothing against food. But I did a fast one month. I actually said I was fasting the other day, but I gave up after the first day. But I did a 5-day fast one year. And what it made me realize, as far as fasting goes, what it really made me realize was just how much I eat, not for like, not out of hunger, but just out of like personal, just amusement or pleasure, or maybe not even pleasure, but you know, sometimes it would just be for like, just because I was bored or trying to pass the time. All right, so I'm gonna go like this. We're gonna get another flower right here. Just trying to find our yellows here. I want to add yet levels of this yellow here. And let's see what we can find. Some more yellows. We're going to come around here and we're going to go right into here. Get a yellow right there. Another yellow right here. Let's go find some white highlights. I'm just going to highlight out some of these areas. So like right here. And then like right here. And what do we do now? We got this green. Maybe we could find some green in the hair. Let's add some more highlights into the hair here. Just gonna go green into the hair right here. Boom. That's the one thing about that's the one thing about black hair that I found is black hair is never just black. If you ever look at somebody with black hair, it's like, and they have all these other colors. You know, whatever the light is that's reflecting from the environment, you know, there's always going to be those colors shining on black hair. Sometimes it looks red, sometimes it's, you know, blue, sometimes it's like red. But let's switch this up now. Spent enough time. You know, I really often need to like switch details. So this broth is looking good. I need some really dark browns to put into it. Get the bamboo shoots in there. So bamboo shoots are almost black. And spoon, of course, always shows. So let's see, how do we capture this spoon just floating above? Go like that, and let's go. Here we go. Ooh wee, ooh wee. Here we go. Just add some bamboo shoots randomly. And then get some yellows. Let's try to find. See, this is a black yellow. Ooh, there's an egg here. No, this is not going to be a good color for that. Let's see how we're going to do this. This needs to be tightened up. Ah, there's Amazon. Amazon has arrived. My Amazon has arrived. There's Amazon. Thank you. Thank you, Amazon, for delivering my packages. Now let's go. What can this black go? You know what? This black can actually go into this thing right here. So we're going to start to add some shadows and round this out. And let's go. Oh, and I need a nice little yellow cork. So let's get a little cork up here. Cork this up. And yellow's not, the yellow's not doing a good job of like mixing into here. But as long as I start to establish some of the zones, I feel like I can work from there. The good thing about the way I paint is that it's a very fun way to paint. It's a very exciting way to paint. I feel like it's a very expressive way to paint. But the bad thing is, I think, is it takes a lot of extra time. Like, a regular artist would do something like they would say, hey, I'm going to sketch out all of this perfectly. It's going to be all sketched out, drawn, maybe even traced, copied from a, what do you call it? Like a projector. Or maybe they, draw it out and then they transfer it somehow. And, that's the traditional way. But for me, I find this way more exciting. This is way more expressive. Just in general, I like this way better, which is why I do it. But I would get why other people would totally shy away from this style. And it takes a lot more time too. Like what I'm doing right now would take someone, obviously someone who sketched out ahead of time, like it would literally they would be done already. Right? If they sketched it out ahead of time, they'd be done with the majority of the initial phase already. They sketched it out, and they wouldn't be done already, but you get what I'm saying. They would have like a huge part of it already ready to go. So I understand why this actually takes a lot more time. So I'm constantly working, fixing mistakes, or maybe not fixing mistakes, but I guess the euphemistic way, without sounding like I make mistakes, the right way of saying this would be, oh, well, I am modifying and adjusting my painting, aka fixing areas that are like mistakes. But if you want to sound like a professional and you don't want people to realize you make mistakes, then you would say, yes, I'm modifying and adjusting all of the areas so that it's just right. Making changes, modifications. Oh, this area needs to be painted, right? So let's actually paint that area. Let's go with this brush, keep the brush the same. Let's find some dark browns here. We're gonna modulate. I learned this word the other day, and I feel like I have to use it all the time now. Modulate. According to ChatGPT, the way Paul Cézanne painted, one of the greatest artists who ever lived, according to how he painted, is he would modulate. He would modulate. Now, what does modulate mean? I'm still trying to figure that out. It means to modify and switch up how you. I think it means modifying how you actually paint an area and switching up your brush work. That's what I think it means. If you look at his paintings, that's pretty much what he does. So I think it's a fair conjecture to assume that he modulating is really just switching up your brushwork. Let's go down into here, try to find the brushwork here, and then right into here. Modulate, modulate, modulate. Now we should modulate up here. Let's modulate, people. Modulate. And let's clean off this brush here. Actually, let's leave a nice white line right here. Really nice white line. Nice white line. Let's reduce the shadow in this area. Needs to have a better flow. Give it a more natural tone here. And let's go. Let's go grab this yellow, and we're just gonna. Let's get the hands. go like this. And then we're going to go like this. And then we're going to come around and go like this. Let's go bring this down a little bit more. We're going to start to blend in this area, this wrist, this hand space. Fine tune this little curve right here. That looks pretty crazy right now. We'll get it done. We'll get it right. We will get it right. It's the last thing we do to this painting. We will get this right. Wait, you know what? We're going to go across like this. And here we go. I think now's a good time for a break. So we're going to take a little breather real quick. You know, let me see where I could actually bring down some of these colors. So I got this pink right here. Let me add this highlight right into here. I think this would be a good place for this. And clean off this brush. That's the sound of me making music. The sound of an artist's music. The music of an artist. Tapping, tapping, tapping away now. Tapping, tapping, tapping away now. Okay, oh, you know what? I need to clean off these other brushes too. Let's see, we got a lot of dark colors on this. Let me see how I can, maybe I can actually add this in to help establish a shadow. We're going to clean off this brush. You know, as I wrap clean off these brushes for now, you know, I'm just looking at all these colors and I'm like, where can I put this color? Where can I add this in? Where's a good spot? And I think there's some white here. Is this white? Yeah. So like right here. Let's go ahead and, you know, tighten this knuckle up. And then that up. And then let's actually go like this, and we're going to reduce the size of this pinky, hopefully. Bring this pinky down like that. Let's see. This is like a red, a gray. Too much gray. So much gray. Let's see. We're gonna bring this orange into this back here. Some of this color, we got our yellows, so let's try to undulate or modulate, do some modulating here. I'm gonna modulate with these colors, with our pinks here. Let's do some modulating. And those of you just tuning in, we're going to be wrapping, taking a little break here in a few moments, just so I can paint again later with bravado and ecstasy and joy and energy, and continue with the energy. Longer painting sessions require breaks. Let's see, what's on this brush? It's a dark color. It's a dark purple. So we can actually brush this around. Let's use this to tighten up some of the area around our figure here. Maybe even right under here, and just make some action moves, action colors here. There we go. Now's a good time to like take a break and take a look at everything. You know, look at it from you know, look back at it, reflect on it. Sometimes I could do paintings all at one time, but then other times, you know, it's good to like take a step back, reflect, think about it. I guess it depends on the mood you're in. And you know what? Like it's interesting because it's not always a good thing, right? Like sometimes you can't just paint based on what mood you're in, because you're doing it for, and somebody's, you know, asking you, you know, for a commission, whatever, and you can't always just paint however, whatever mood sets in, depending on, you know, how you've built your brand and your style and all that. But here we go. We're going to take a break now. So those of you that were here, thanks again. It's time to go do some things. We'll be back a little later. Take care. Thanks everybody, people that were here. Dave, Enigma, Levi. Oof. Thank you, Levi. I appreciate you. Again, goodbye.